Hey there, Woo Ball fans. I've got a big update for you regarding our Rise from the Ashes campaign. The fundraising effort currently underway to replace 60 ash trees struck by the emerald ash borer around Volsdorf Field. We have some generous donors who have offered to match every donation. That's right, the price for our large replacement trees, the autumn gold ginkgo tree, has been now cut down to just $300 each, thanks to matching donations from our donors. Everyone who donates to the Rise from the Ashes campaign will be recognized in a dedication ceremony next season at the home opener and will receive a commemorative plaque made from the ash trees we are removing that will make a beautiful addition to your home, office, or wherever you choose to display it. Just go to www.waldorfgridironclub.org and make your donation. Put Rise from the Ashes in the note section, along with whatever name or names you'd like added to your tree recognition. Thanks to all our donors for helping us rise from the ashes and restore the beauty of Volsdorf Field for generations of warriors to come. It's time for dinner.
Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong.
From the creative mind of Scott Bertelson, after 4 decades of teaching our impressionable youth,
The dinner bell.
you are invited to enjoy conversational morsels for the mind at Mr. B's dinner party.
Yeah, dinner.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the podcast featuring Mr. Scott Bertelson. Take it away, Scott. I said it. I said your name, Scott. That's
awfully formal on your part.
well, and that doesn't feel right.
That's very, very forward.
Okay.
But I do like it. I'll let you say it during the duration of our talk. Yes, that was my happy lead-in from Andy Buffington. Andy Buffington was nice enough to come out and talk to Mr. Bertelson.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You must have been bored.
No, not at all. When I get an opportunity to talk to you, Mr. B,
Oh, whatever.
I'm not going to pass it up.
Oh, my gosh.
Never.
Well, maybe we should have a cooperative podcast.
There you go.
Think of something to talk about.
Yeah. Remember, not politics.
I will never talk politics.
Thank goodness. It's ridiculous.
Beyond.
Yep.
Well, anyway, folks, I'm very happy. As you're rolling your eyes and saying, what's going on? What's going on? I'm very happy to be here today, Mr. B's dinner party. And Andy has brought a plethora of dishes for us to feast on. So, you know that Andy, Mr. Buffington, is a first-rate chef. Is this correct?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I studied at the Sorbonne. I don't even know. Is that like real?
I have no idea.
I know what the Sorbonne is, or I know of this, like the name Sorbonne, but I have no idea if that's a culinary institute or is it an art institute or is it like a women's prison in Paris? I have no idea, man.
Well, even women in prison in France deserve good food. So
Yes.
let's keep that in mind. So anyway, Andy.
Yes.
I very happy that you took the time out of your schedule, whether it's busy or not,
Sure.
to come talk to us a little bit about. I just thought that the community needed to know, or maybe I needed to know, more about what you do in your job capacity. Because to be quite honest with you, Andy, I don't know what you do. I know you do something with tornadoes.
Yes. Yeah,
I'm not making light of that. I'm not.
No. And I get it. It's, I've been referred to as the weather guy quite a bit.
Oh.
I send out messages about impending weather or at least forecasts and things like that. That's just a small part of it. It's about community alerting and warning. That's part of the job. The emergency. I literally have 6 job titles.
Well, could you tell us what those titles are?
Well, I'm the Hancock County Emergency Management Coordinator. I'm the Hancock County Communications Director. I'm the Hancock County 911 Administrator. I'm the Hancock County Planning and Zoning Administrator. I'm the Winnebago County Emergency Management Coordinator and the Winnebago County Communications Director.
Round of applause.
Thank you. Golf clap.
How do you remember all those?
I've been doing it for almost 25 years.
So you do those 6 jobs
Sure.
on a daily basis?
Yeah, I have the luxury of carrying my personal cell phone and my work cell phone 24/7, 365, just waiting. And it doesn't happen often, if I'm going to be completely honest. But you need to be there for your communities and for your emergency responders. If they run up against a wall, they need to have somebody to call that has phone numbers and resources to be able to kind of get them out of a pickle, I guess, if you can, things like that.
Mm-hmm. So how did you get into this gig?
Well,
How did this happen?
Well, I started working for the Hancock County Sheriff's Office as a jailer, and then I moved up to jail administrator.
Okay.
The gentleman that had my job prior, a gentleman by the name of Cliff Smith, was part-time. Well, he was just emergency management part-time.
Okay.
So they added communications, 911, emergency management, and planning and zoning all together to create one full-time. Mm-hmm. And in 2007, the Winnebago County coordinator left. Shortly thereafter, the Board of Supervisors asked me to be the communications director as well. So,
did you have to take a test?
Well, yeah, you have to be certified,
Write an essay?
Nope, no essays, thank goodness. I can write, but I just,
Physical fitness test?
No, none of that. Thank goodness. No, it's just you have to take certain classes and things like that. Emergency planning and exercises and training and all this other stuff over the years. And I think I'm number 5 or 6 in the state as far as seniority, for emergency management. So I've been around. I'm kind of an old dog.
All right. Now, when you say you've been around, what are we talking? Half a century?
No. I started in 2000.
I don't think you're that old.
Yeah, over 24 years as emergency manager. I've been with Hancock County for 26 years. Over 26, almost 27.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And you feel compelled to stay with this gig then? You really like it?
I do. It's, again, there's familiarity in it as well.
Yes.
I came up in a different age. Emergency management has evolved significantly. When I took the job, we were the guys that you're in the rear with the gear, you're in the basement. Nobody knows who you are, what you do, or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And then bring on 11 September of 2001 when our nation was attacked. Yeah. And emergency management nationally really thought, hey, this is something that we should, let's put ourselves at the front of the line rather at the back of the line where we had always been.
Yes.
Which is fine. Mm-hmm. But again, that's a whole different philosophy. And emergency management is evolving. It's one of the top 10 bachelor's degrees right now in the United States.
Oh.
People are
I would have known that.
Well, absolutely. People are interested in that. Mm-hmm. It's really emerging right now. We have a lot of young people in, they're super hungry. They're really, and I look at them and it's like, there's things that I do. My philosophy of the job is I need to be that resource when, again, they get up against a wall. They need to be able to know somebody that they can call and say, hey, I got this problem. What are we going to do about it? And it's my job to try to solve it.
Mm-hmm. And I bet you do 99.99% of the time.
When I get called, I try to. I'll turn over every stone I possibly can.
What a great experience in problem solving.
Yeah, you have to think on your feet. And usually the simplest solution is often the best. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't get too complex or or complicated. Or, I have a lot of counterparts across the state of Iowa that they like to use a lot of big words, and they're very intelligent, very important folk.
Yes.
And they do a great job for their communities.
They know it
across the state. No, not necessarily. They're not an arrogant bunch.
You're insinuating.
No, well, no. I hope not to be. But yeah, they're, like I said, they're good folks across the state. Some of the best people I know are emergency managers. And then just to be around public safety. That's kind of a cool part of it as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, now, Andy, I want you to give us some scenarios that you've been involved with over the many years that you've done this, that you found challenging. I didn't prep you for this.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
The most challenging one was COVID. It was trying to make the best decisions you can based on really bad information, and we have the luxury of hindsight now to say, maybe we weren't giving our communities the best advice. But we were trusting and I'm air quoting this, experts to make sure that it was in the public's best interest. Now, I'm not going to get into some debate about what was good and what was bad, but there was a lot of things that were coming from my office that you need to do this and you need to do that. And in retrospect, you kind of wish, you would have sat in the sidelines a little bit more and said, I don't know. We started out where I was on the radio every day for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then it was once a week or a couple times a week. And then there was
Kim Reynolds was on TV every day too.
She was. Yeah. I was not.
It was.
And I appreciated, our leadership here in the state of Iowa. I have a lot of criticism of Iowa Department of Public Health and our governor's office at that time, but it was more that was a me thing. It wasn't a them thing. They were also doing the best they could based on
exactly.
But so you're fighting this invisible monster that you have no idea how to stop it, slow it down, or kill it, and people are dying. People are getting sick.
Yes.
And you don't know what to do. You don't, and it's like, it seems like everything that you try, and it is quite literally, you're just throwing stuff up against the wall, see what sticks and see what's successful. And there was very little that stuck to the wall. So, that was one. There's been hazardous material events. There's been, I've been very fortunate. I was involved in the Parkersburg tornado, the EF5 that rolled through that community and the response and the planning and all that other stuff. And that was the best class I ever took. Unfortunately, 9 people lost their lives. That's always the tough part. There's a human factor in everything that we do, and that's the reason you do it. And that's the reason that, some days I'll tell you very specifically, there was when Waldorf was acquired by Mays Education, they had a pilot by the name of Tommy Shelton. Tommy lost his life approaching the Forest City Airport. And again, cumulatively, the stress that people are under in public safety, and I don't see it like our law enforcement and fire and EMS. Not even near their capacity, but it was enough I remember I was getting ready for church that Sunday, and we'd had Mr. Shelton's body had been collected, and we were out on the scene, and I was working with NTSB and the FAA and all these other folks. And he was a wonderful man, just a wonderful human being. Unfortunately, he lost his life, and I just remember my wife was getting ready in the bathroom. Church was in a half hour or whatever, and I was just overcome by emotion and literally sat on the floor of my shower and just sobbed. And the ugly cry, you can't quite, the snorting and everything else. Just because, when you think of that human factor, it really gets back and just cuts at your nerves, so. And the same thing with COVID. There was a lot of tears, a lot of tears and a lot of just gut wrenching moments. And, obviously it hit our family very closely, and that was, obviously that's tough. You lose somebody you loved, something, and but at the same time, that is life, we did our best. We really did. But,
in hindsight, if this is a fair question, do you think it was a good idea to close the schools?
I think, my opinion now, and there was a lot of information at the time that if you were under the age of 60 and healthy, you shouldn't change your life whatsoever. That's my opinion. That doesn't mean that it wouldn't have spread, but it was those folks that were over 60 or had some sort of compromised health condition, that it was very dangerous for them. And the older you got, the more it just, and we've been planning for like the 1918 pandemic, Spanish influenza, that killed our most healthy and our youngest. If you ever get a chance, if you've read The Great Influenza, that's a great book. Okay. It talks about germ theory and all these other things, but it also talks about how, when we were prepping for World War I and we're moving our soldiers around literally in boxcars, and spreading that disease like crazy, that's what we're planning for. We weren't planning for this thing that we can't see, can't fight, can't figure out, and then boom, it hits our most vulnerable, and that's terrible because it just was not a good time.
No, wasn't.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
But it's endemic now. It's considered a respiratory illness, just like influenza and RSV and all those other things. Yeah.
Well, I'm just telling you for whatever reason that I have a COVID shot every year.
Yeah, good for you.
Yes,
There's people out there that
Yes.
think that it's all
Yes.
poppycock and stuff
Right,
like that.
right.
And my philosophy is always what's good for you is good for you, and you make those decisions that's best for you. There's no place in my life that I'm going to sit there and judge somebody for that.
No.
My mom does the same thing.
Yes.
You know, she'll be 83 next month. And so if that helps her live a nice, long, healthy life, go for it. I had one booster and then I'm done. I'm only 55, so I'm relatively healthy.
Yes.
So, we'll see what the future brings.
Yes. So thanks for giving some of that background about your job, your career. So what is if this is the right term, what's a typical day look like for you?
Never the same.
Never the same. Must be an education.
Yeah, right. Well, today, because as emergency manager, I'm part of a group in our courthouse down in Garner that deals with safety, and so we had a sign project, so you could direct people through our complex, and so like today, I went and collected a new directional sign for people that aren't familiar with our courthouse and how to get around. So I did that. I did some drywalling today as well. I did some planning, working on the hazard mitigation plan for both Winnebago and Hancock County, and working on the hazard analysis risk assessment and getting that put into the plan and getting ready for meetings that are going to be upcoming hopefully right after the Christmas holiday. So that takes a lot of time, a lot of data, a lot of getting forms put together, making sure your plans look good. And then I'm looking at my training requirements that have to be done by June rather than October. Yeah, that's what I did today. You never know what I'm going to do. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So
And you like that variety.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I like special projects. That's some of my favorite stuff. When you can do little one-off things, usually about every 3 years, I'll take out to our elected offices, our city councils and board of supervisors. I'll offer them, like I did last one I did a few years ago, was tornado orientation.
Okay.
A tornado hit your town. What do we need to plan for?
I see.
And so that's what we did. I think we'll probably look at like infrastructure disruption next, power, communications, water, all those different things. What are we going to do if, so it's just because that's who makes the decisions. Your chief elected officials, your mayor, your city council members, and then their appointed staff underneath them. So
I see.
Yeah. All the fun stuff.
Oh, maybe for you.
That
Doesn't sound fun to
sounds
me.
horribly boring.
No. That's not what I'm saying. It sounds very stressful to me.
No, it's not stressful. No.
Okay.
Maybe I'm used to it.
Maybe.
But the one thing, it took me a lot of years to realize that there's a reason that every couple of weeks there's money that goes in my account. They pay me to do these things.
That I was not aware of.
Yeah, they do. It's amazing. So
I was under the assumption this was all voluntary.
It should be. But they pay me, and there's a reason they call it work, and there's a reason they call it a job. But it's not. The one thing I will say is that my occupation is emergency manager and communications director, but that's what I do. It's not who I am.
I like that.
Yeah. That's how I approach things. And it's not personal. If somebody wants to get in my face and yell at me and call me all sorts of names and stuff like that, if it makes them feel better, go ahead. I might get a little heated, but for the most part, I'm just going to let it roll right off. I'm good.
That's very impressive. Yeah, but I'm sure you don't have those situations very often, do you?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, dealing with the public. I don't know if you ever dealt with parents.
Never.
No, not when you were teaching.
What do you
And the parents were always completely reasonable. When Junior put zero effort into everything and you gave him the D or the F.
Whose fault was that?
Yeah, absolutely. Why didn't you teach them? Even though they slept through class, they never turned in assignments. They did not do well in their tests because they never studied. And then all of a sudden, mom is mad because Junior is such a wonderful young man. No, they're not. They're dumb. But you can't say that.
I'm not saying that.
No, of course you're not saying. But the reality is they're putting zero effort into it. And that's, it's cause and effect.
Yes.
If you don't put the work in, that's what happens, and then like at that 0 hour where it's like, no, the grades have been turned in and they have like a 1.4 GPA. They're never going to get into Dartmouth with a GPA like that, Mr. Bertelson. Why did you do that to my young child? It happens.
You really have that down. You really.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen it.
And again, that is the exception, though.
I understand that.
My happy friend.
Yeah.
That's the exception. But, it is difficult, not to get off on a tangent here,
I get it.
Andy, to want to believe that your child is the most precious commodity on the planet.
To me.
Yes.
But not to everybody.
No.
I will do anything for my kid, but if they mess up, that's on them.
Yeah.
And they have to deal with me. Yeah. Now they're adults now.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
So, yeah. No, it's accountability. Be responsible for your own dang actions, people. And it's not the teacher's fault because your kid's a moron.
You didn't hear that from me.
No, that
okay.
that is 100% Andy Buffington. I will.
Maybe you should write a book. Maybe
no.
you could do a podcast on education.
I did write a book.
You never told me this.
Well, it was an 86-page book, and it was very thin, and it was like 10 chapters.
Yes.
And it was a gift for both my daughters because I wanted to give them how I think about certain things, about living your life and what's
An
important.
instructional manual?
No, it's just what's important to me and why it's important to me and why they are important to me. I wrote an entire chapter about their mother. Because that's so very important.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. And then again, I couldn't tell you exactly. It was a lot of, I think my favorite chapter in that book was about just being able to accept where you're at the moment, because there's sometimes that, and we've all been there, where life seems really, really dark.
Oh,
and like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Yes.
But you know what? You and I are sitting here right now having this great conversation, and every choice that we've ever made from the time that we were the moron sitting in class to now put us here. And I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I completely.
So all those mistakes that we make, all the victories that we have, create the person we are today and put us in the right place at the right time. And we don't have a lot to do with it.
Where did you develop that thought?
I don't know.
Yes. You lived it.
Yeah, I was at my bottom. My wife saved my life quite literally, and she's my everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a wonderful.
I hope you tell her that on a daily basis.
No, I don't want to. I hope she doesn't listen to this. Because then she's going to start thinking that I need to step up a little bit. No,
oh my God.
Not only do I have to tell her that, I have to show her that as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. So whatever happened to this book then?
I made 5 copies.
Oh my God.
I gave my daughters each, and of course I wrote a little inscription and gave that to them for Christmas last year. And I gave one to my mother. And then we had 2 copies, and a friend of ours has got it right now, and hopefully she can do that for her children as well. So, yeah. It's just something, and it's not an original idea. I saw it on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, what a gift.
Yes.
Because someday, maybe my grandchildren will go, this is, like Grandpa was weird, man.
And that's the highest compliment they could pay you.
I hope so.
Oh,
I hope so.
Okay, so Andy Buffington.
Yes.
You have lived in the North Iowa area your entire life. Is this correct?
Except for 2 years living in Maryville, Missouri.
Okay, what would be the calling to go to Missouri?
It was the most, so went to, after Waldorf College, went to the University of Northern Iowa, had a whole lot of fun. I was the moron in the classroom that didn't go to class, didn't study, didn't turn in. So I got bad grades, and they said, you know what? Thanks for playing. You need to leave. And so I moved home, got my grades up, went back, did it again. And then they said, you know what? I think University of Northern Iowa is not for you. Thanks for playing. So I sold cars for a little while, and I realized that, hey, this is terrible. So I moved home, and again, that was kind of rock bottom, and I'm not going to get into all the details of what that looked like, but it was pretty
I'm glad. I don't know if I could take that.
Yeah, and so then I met my wife. I was working at Winnebago. She was working at 3M.
Okay.
We got married.
Yes.
And one day, a gentleman that I have the utmost respect for named Al Berg, I worked with him on the line at Winnebago, and he said, I've been here 30 years today. I said, what'd you do on your first day? And he said, this. Now, nothing wrong.
No.
Wonderful jobs at Winnebago Industries.
Yes.
They have put that company has put more people through college and made this community wonderful and successful and built great humans. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to be Al, but I loved Al. I'd like to be like Al.
Yes.
He's unfortunately passed away, but so we looked for a school. It was either going to be Iowa State University, University of Wisconsin La Crosse, or Northwest Missouri State University.
I see.
And so we chose Northwest, and we went down there, and boom, we brought a baby home with us back in 1997.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
That is amazing. So you are a major success story.
No.
You are.
No, I'm not successful.
What?
I'm blessed.
Oh.
I mean, I bathe in grace. You know, that's all I can be.
I like to think that for me too.
I think you are, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have a good life.
I do.
I think. I like to follow along and with your travels on Facebook and things like that. I mean, you get to spend time with your sons, and you're part of their life, and you get to go experience things with your friends and with your family.
Do.
Good for you.
Yes. But you do that too. You keep in touch with your children.
Of course. Actually, my eldest daughter and her husband are spending the week with us, prior to Thanksgiving. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
You like your son-in-law?
He's a great person.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Yep, he is. He's a great person. I only had to threaten to kill him once. And that was the first time
Wedding day?
No, I had to vet him out before that. He needed to understand the seriousness of what it means to be in our family. So.
Oh.
Yeah. But no, he's a wonderful man.
You didn't give him an instructional manual of how to fit into the Buffington family?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, but he does fit.
He does.
Yeah. He does fit. He's, like I said, he is what I expected for my daughter.
Yep. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I'm lucky.
Oh, you are. All right. Now, speaking of that,
Yep.
I want to know what you like to do for fun, Andy Buffington.
I like to fish.
Tell us about that. What kind of fish? Where? When?
Anything I can catch. We have a place over at Okoboji. My folks had the foresight of getting that years and years ago, and so we spend a lot of time there. I like to be out in my boat, and I like to fish. And fishing is so very little about catching fish.
That's so true. That is so true.
If you have ever been out in the water at 6 o'clock in the morning as the sun is rising up over the trees, and it's 60, 70 degrees, and it's just a beautiful morning, and God is so present around you in everything.
Yes.
It's so very peaceful. I can shut off the world and just be who I am. So that's what I love about fishing, and I'll catch anything. I don't care. I like to fish. I like to catch fish. I eat a little bit of fish, but for the most part, that's one of the things that gives me peace. And then Waldorf football.
Yes.
Yeah, I love Waldorf football.
What is that? What's the connection?
That is about being able to be around a bunch of young men that are trying to figure out life.
Yes.
And watching them go from these scared freshmen into these successful men, and using football as the medium. And I do care about, I love football.
Yes.
But my biggest thing when it comes to be part of that program has nothing to do what happens on Bullstorf Field. What I look forward to is watching what happens at the Bowman in late April, early May, when those young men walk across the stage and get a diploma and change their life. I mean, that's what it's all about.
It is.
But again, creating relationships and being able to be a positive influence on these guys if I can, show them love, just be sincere with them, have fun, and just meet the needs that they have.
So how do you meet their needs, Andy? What do you do?
Well, really, my position there is director of player personnel. Don't ask, but I do a lot of I have no idea.
Hey.
It's a title. I mean, that's all it is.
Well, so that's 7 titles you have. Then.
Well, yeah, that's, but
Oh.
that's what I do for, just to stay busy,
Oh.
from like July to November.
I see.
And then spring ball and all that other good stuff. But no, it's making sure they have what they need to make sure they're number one safe and number two feel good, look good out on the football field, and just whatever I can do. Make sure they got at times making sure they have water. So at times making sure that they have mouthpieces. At times making sure that their helmet fits, that their shoulder pads fit, that their uniforms are clean, that they're all these other things. And then support the full-time staff as well as much as I can.
Well, you're like a dad.
That's what I try to be.
Oh.
Yep.
And you've done that for how long now, Andy?
5 seasons. Yep. And as we came into Troy's tonight, I told him to look at the license plate.
Yes.
I literally picked him up today. My license plate says Woo Ball. So that's what we call Waldorf football, is Woo Ball. So I'm committed to the program. I'm not loyal to any one player or one coach. I'm committed to the program, and I love Waldorf University. So it's that simple.
Well, that is very admirable.
Some days.
Yes.
Some days.
Do you ever feel like sometimes that you have to serve as a counselor to some of these young men? Okay.
Sometimes they talk stupid, and I have to put them back where, like, they'll say things that are very typical of young men.
Really?
Yes.
A young man
Yes.
might say something stupid.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Or they'll say something that is completely misguided. I'm not telling anybody what to think ever.
No.
But I'll say, guys, and a lot of the stuff can't be repeated in play company. Because it's in a football locker room. Let's be honest.
Right.
But no, I just, again, try to be more of a shepherd, just keep the flock
Good
together.
analogy.
Yeah. Right. That's one of my spiritual gifts.
Yes.
Shepherding.
So during the football season, then you devote how much time? Is it fair to ask per day, or how does that work?
Well, yeah, and it's front end loaded. Once they show up for fall camp, I'm out there a lot. Adjusting their equipment and making sure that they, the stuff that they break and they lose and all that other stuff. And then as the season goes on, game. Obviously, they played 11 games this year.
Yes,
they had one bye week, and so it's like home games are busier because Friday night's busy getting everything ready.
Yes.
Saturday is getting there before 6 a.m. and doing the things I do for the university as well as the football team. And then you're there just to make sure everything's ready to go so that the coaches don't have to think about those little incidentals, and that the players can just come in, enjoy the moment. Waldorf and the community do such a great job of making these young men feel like part of something bigger, which is what they do.
Yes.
So,
yes.
It's just, I don't know, I probably average, a few hundred hours, it's usually about 20 to 25 hours a week.
In addition to what you do.
Sure.
Also.
Yeah. And there can be more and less, it just depends on what needs to be done. And I don't mind. I like to stay busy. Yeah. But no, that's definitely one of my passion areas.
So you do that. You like to fish. What else do you do when Andy Buffington has free time?
There's not a ton.
Okay.
During the football season, I kind of step away from the church, which I don't care for. I need to get back into being more of a regular attendee of my church, as well as being involved in that. So that's going to kind of be what my winter's going to look like, I hope. I don't know. Now that we don't have kids living at home, I like to spend time with my wife. We like to go, go on little trips here and there, go see part of the world. Our last trip was to Springfield, Illinois, and what a wonderful place. I'm a huge Lincoln fan, so I like to read too.
What do you like to read?
I'm a nonfiction guy.
Nonfiction.
Right now, I'm reading Chicken Hawk. It is a story of a Huey helicopter's journey in Vietnam. So I like that time period. I like the Civil War time period. The book before that, I read about the building of the Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh my goodness!
And Washington Roebling, took over for his father, who died before the bridge construction started, and just all the stuff that goes along with it. David McCullough is one of my favorite authors.
Oh, yes.
1776 is probably one of his most well-known works.
Yes.
But I like the way that he can take reality and turn it into a story and not make it mind numbing. Because every now and then I'm like, I need to read a fiction book because, so they said the best book you can read is Catch-22.
I've never read it.
Do you want my copy? Because it was horrible.
No, I'm not attracted to reading it.
No, not at all. No, I did not enjoy it. They said it's probably one of the literary masterpieces that talks about military parody. And no, I didn't like it. Just because, again, this is what happened and why.
Okay. Did you finish it?
Of course. You got to finish it. Yeah. So
To the bitter end.
yeah. Yes. So yeah, that's kind of what I fill my time with. I like to drink coffee.
Oh, I see. That's an art form for you?
Not really.
Are you a connoisseur of coffee?
Not at all. Give me some Folgers, man. Oh. But that's the one thing I look forward to is getting up in the morning, make a pot of coffee, get in the shower, get ready, pour that big old jug of coffee and take it to work. And that's just that's my time to be.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to mention to you that when I was your speech drama coach a number of years ago, and we won't say how long it's been.
No, it's been like 12, 15 years maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know if it was that long.
That I thought you were very, very talented on stage.
Well, thank you.
And you have a wonderful, wonderful voice.
Thank you.
And so what's going on? Why aren't you involved with the Brick Street Theater? What's going on?
I don't know.
You do.
It's always intrigued me, but I just I'm one of those. I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's probably the time commitment. The last type of any acting I've ever done, other than like little skits at church, was what was that movie, The Rise of the Sea Urchins?
Yes,
and I enjoyed that somewhat.
Yes,
I did it as a favor. I am a huge fan of Mark and Joy Newcomb, and Mark was, he said you really need to do this.
Yes,
and anything I can do for that guy, they're great people.
Yes. I agree.
But I enjoy that to some extent.
Yes.
I enjoy speaking in front of people. I don't get the opportunity to do it very often, but I don't have anything that I'm so passionate about that I feel like I can get up and speak on it. My opportunities now are to talk about tornado safety areas, and
that's important, though.
I understand that.
Yes,
but I don't know. That's not very much fun. Things I get passionate about, I can speak for a long time on. So. Yeah, I've always said I would be a lot more comfortable in speaking in front of a crowd of 20,000 than being among them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I love people, but I don't like to be in groups.
Oh, I'm the same way.
Maybe COVID was something to do with that.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
But I've never been the guy that wants to go stand in a concert and, be shoulder to shoulder. Maybe when I was in my late teens, early 20s, maybe. But not anymore. I like to be wide open spaces. Again, fishing boat. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like
No, I can't go to these crowded concerts at the surf anymore.
Nope.
I can't do it.
Nope, me either.
My head wants to explode.
Yeah. I had a T-shirt in
Literally.
You probably remember the KISS T-shirt in high school that said on the back of it, "If it's too loud, you're too old." You remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
We all had them. But the thing is, I'm there now. I'm too old. We went to a wedding this weekend that was wonderful. Great kids, great couple, awesome families all together. And you step outside and it's like, wow, that was loud. And it's meant to be.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know.
All right. Now, Andy.
Yep.
I forgot to mention something that deals with your job. I want you to talk about this whole peat moss situation.
Oh, the peat fire.
Peat fire. Talk to us about that.
So peat ground.
Yes.
It's not necessarily just moss. It's organic material.
Okay.
That generally is, if you think about a lake bottom, over hundreds and thousands of years as a lake sits there, they're going to have plants growing in it and stuff like that. And each season they're going to bloom and flourish, and then it's going to die. And then that cycle continues. Well, when you drain that lake bed,
yes,
it's going to create a very organic type soil. And what happens is that when it becomes peat ground, again, used to be wetland. Peat is a very, very, very interesting especially combustible component, because it's water phobic. So as it burns, it creates a resin. And then after that resin cools, as the fire moves along very slowly, it's not big open flames. It just smolders underground. And then it creates that resin, and that's what makes it hydrophobic. So then as you put water on it, it doesn't really do a whole lot. That resin layer keeps it from penetrating deep into the ground. And peat fires can burn for a very long time. Now, the one that we had here, just northeast of town, was very unique to the state of Iowa. There's going to be a lot of case studies on it. As a matter of fact, I talked to the fire chief today. We're going to do an after action report on this is what happened. This is when, this is what we did. This is what we tried. And I'll tell you, we're blessed to have such a dedicated fire department here in Forest City with great leadership. And they did everything that they could, and they listened to other people. It was a little bit too large for the general thought of how they fight them up in northern Minnesota and Canada, because usually they're smaller. They can come in with an excavator, dig them up, create a slurry, and just kind of squish them. This was just huge, and they used a product called Peat Fire X, which was it's like a surfactant. So when you add water to it, it actually expands the capability of that water to work into the soil. So they put, I don't know how many pounds of that stuff. It's all organic. It's plant-based, so it's not going to ruin any water or anything like that. So, and it's still kind of going weeks later. It's like, I think it was October 17th or 14th. I think 17th when it started. And we spent a lot of time out there, and it stinks. Talk to the neighbors.
Oh,
yeah.
Awful.
Yeah. And it was just a big smoky mess. And yeah, they used millions and millions and millions of gallons of water to try to just to stop it. And really the idea behind that was, let's surround it, keep it from spreading, because that was probably about like 105 acre parcel, and there was probably about 65 to 70% of it involved with active burning. There were areas that were 500-600 degrees just on the ground. But the issue that you ran into is that there was also probably about another 500 to 600 acres that were connected to it. So if you do nothing about it, you're talking about, as the wind comes up, starting to burn some of those tree stands, and then you have occupied structures. So it's a threat to people and property. So they did a good job of we're close. I know they're close. It may burn for another 10 years. You never know. You just might not see it.
Oh my gosh,
it's crazy stuff.
It is.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
It is
because
fascinating.
Because again, when the fire chief called me and said, again, that I'm up against a wall. What do we do here?
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. So I start talking to people, and they're putting me in touch with folks all over the place. We have a wonderful resource right outside of town, Todd Lewis, that used to fight wildland fires. He is extremely knowledgeable, and he offered a lot of his, his technical expertise, and Nate Nelson, our fire chief, just listened to everybody and then came up with a plan, because he is the commander of the scene. He's the incident commander, and he did what he felt was best and did a darn good job. That thing could have spread all over and threatened a lot of homes and property, but they did a great job. Yeah.
Happy ending.
Very much so.
Yes. Well, I guess wanted people to know more about the after effect of.
Yeah, and I think that in the future we'll probably I'm going to encourage Nate maybe next spring or summer to put a program together to just kind of inform the community. This is what we did, because again, there was a lot of money expended, and a lot of time too.
Yes.
So yeah, just get it out there, and again, public information, and if people are interested, they can come learn about it. And again, that's going to be up to Nate. He wants to do it, but he's good people. We're lucky to have him in a leadership position in our community.
Well, thank you for that, Andy. Thank you for everything that you do. You have enlightened me today.
Whoa.
With yes, I use big words sometimes. Yeah. With the background of what you do.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
Yes.
Well, and thank you for what you do and what you did. Now, if you'll remember,
just sit in a chair now.
Well, that's good. It's comfortable. I prefer that myself.
Oh.
But if you remember, I sent you a message not too long ago, because I was reading a book by Rainn Wilson, and he talked about the impact of teachers. And they said, there's a teacher that everybody's had in their life that made such a positive impact. And that was you. And I want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you. And folks,
No.
I'm not.
No, he didn't even pay me.
No.
There's no cash on the table right now, but
I don't have cash. I'm retired.
yeah, that's true. So, and I know that people that are listening to this that had you as a teacher will feel the same way, you know?
appreciate
So
that.
thank you for doing that for
Well,
us.
thank you. I felt that as an educator, Andy, every day was a new adventure.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more gratifying than having somebody come up to you at Diamond Joe's.
Yeah.
I'm not a compulsive gambler, but
Yet.
I can't afford it.
Yeah, I hear
But and say, gosh, Mr. Bertelson, I really want to tell you how much I appreciate you. And then, of course, I can't remember who they are,
No.
but they look different.
Oh, we all do.
Ooh.
Yeah. We all do.
So then I have to try to come up with a name. And
Yeah.
ultimately,
It doesn't matter though,
I
does
just
it?
say, no,
Because you made an
ultimately I
impact.
say, who are you?
I'm sorry, your name again, sir?
Do I know you?
Get away from me. I get it. But no, thank you for what you do, what you've done for our community and the people that are in it, because I have always told my kids that the one thing that they need to be able to do is speak in public. And that's one of the things that you gave me the confidence to do, because, you know, you can have somebody that's a really good football player, basketball
Absolutely.
player, trumpet player, whatever it happens to be.
Yes.
And that will take you so far in life. But if you can get in front of people and speak and be confident and comfortable, you're gonna have a lot more success.
Well, I've heard you speak at various gatherings about what you do and what you look out for. Recently, about the election
Yeah.
precincts.
Oh yeah,
And,
all that stuff.
You're very, very articulate.
Well, I learned from one of the best, and thank you for that.
Well, then I do want to check.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. It's
Or Venmo.
it's an out of you take out of state 2-party payroll check.
I'm not above it.
Me either.
I am not above it.
Yeah. Hey, if it cashes, man, we'll spend it.
Well, folks, what a joy it has been to spend this time with Andy Buffington. And Andy Buffington, I wish you continued success with what you do.
Thank you.
And let's try to keep this peat moss situation under control,
We'll do our best. I promise you that.
because I just don't want to have horror
No,
nightmares
no,
about that.
you're not. No,
Okay.
they're on top of
Something about peat moss I just don't like.
it. Nope. You have nothing to worry about.
Okay. Well, folks, Andy, remember you brought the dishes for our eating tonight.
I did.
What did you bring, Andy?
I don't know if exactly. We're so far north, Mr. B.
Oh,
that
yes.
I don't know if we're going to call it tater tot hot dish
Oh.
or tater tot casserole.
Oh,
That's the great dilemma.
I can't answer that.
No,
I grew up with the word casserole.
I did too, but I've started using hot dish, and I get evil looks. Yeah, just to mess with people because it's casserole.
Whatever happened to people enjoying casseroles?
I love
Yeah,
casseroles.
but I don't think people make them anymore. Or
I don't know.
I don't know.
You mean the old tuna noodles?
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Oh,
Macaroni and cheese.
yeah. Or what's the? I'm trying to even think. Goulash.
Goulash.
So simple.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
I don't know.
I don't know. I guess we live in a world of processed foods.
Well, no. Eat pure protein.
Yes, yes.
A lot of lean, pure protein, fruits and vegetables, folks.
Yes.
Don't put that garbage in your body.
No, that's true. That's so delicious. All right, enough about that. I want to thank you all for listening, taking time out of your schedule to find out more about Andy Buffington's life. And thank you for letting me be your moderator. And I am going to come back because I need to get out of my chair occasionally. And you never know what kind of guest I might bring to the table. Maybe I can
Can't wait.
coerce Andy to give me some suggestions of people I should bring.
Do it.
Okay.
All right.
But Andy, do you ever listen to my program?
A few times, yeah.
A few times.
I don't listen to a lot. I don't listen to the one that I do.
I don't listen to myself.
No,
No.
I do sometimes to critique myself to try to make it better.
Oh.
You know, but you know what? I'm sure my mother will listen to this episode. So, Mom, I love you. You're the most wonderful mother that any boy could have had.
And I didn't tell him to say that.
It says it on the card right there.
Quiet. All right, so that's it, folks. Have a good one, and belly up to the table in the future. Bye-bye.
Mr. B's Dinner Party is hosted by Scott Bertelson, edited and produced by Troy Thompson, recorded and distributed at Sunnyside Farm Studios. Music is provided by Soundstripe and platformed by Buzzsprout. Like our page on Facebook, subscribe so you never miss an episode, and share with your friends. Listen and enjoy every other Wednesday. Conversational morsels for the mind on Mr. B's Dinner Party.
Sit still. I said, I can't. Something's tickling me. She thought I was crazy. She said, well, open your coat. I unbuttoned my coat and opened it up. There was a mouse.
Stories. Everybody has them. The stories of our parents, grandparents, and our friends remind us who they are.
That's kind of what I think it is, too, is memories. Growing up, my dad was an English teacher.
How they got here, and what they've learned on the way. What if you could collect as many of your loved ones' stories in a high-quality audio format to keep forever? What if you could share the sound of your loved one's voice, their laughter, and their thoughtful manner with your children? Or when you are simply driving to work?
He spent literally 3 months in North Dakota freezing buckets of ice water to make this awesome ice fort that we never spent time in, but it was amazing for the moment it was done.
Well, you can with a Sunny Side of Life biography. Produced here at Sunnyside Farm Studios. I'll sit down with your loved one for 1, 2, or several sessions to record their stories.
I think my students are going to have good memories of me.
You'll receive the full raw recording, an edited selection arranged in audio chapters for easy reference, and produced segments you can use for family gatherings, special moments, or any time you just want to hear your loved one's voice.
And those are probably my most cherished things.
Share it with your family and make it a keepsake, because that's what stories are, keepsakes of the time we had together.
Never forget that. I was petrified of mice after that forever.
Email your query for more information to Troy at sunnysidefarmstudios.com. The email is also in this show's notes. Let me record your loved one's story so you can share the sunny side of their life in their own words for years to come.
I actually do kind of remember that now.